Hello my friends, it's Caddy. I'm sharing my 76 process video and number 5 of 15 layouts that I will create using this kit that I made from my stash for my Work It Wednesday challenge. And this is the layout that I created. It is called Beautiful. And it's a picture of my beautiful niece. It's the pictures from her first birthday. We just got them, so that's one of the small ones. And I'm scrapbooking that. Now I'm beginning with this stamp set. This is a pink paisley stamp set, and that little sentiment that I'm stamping actually says sweet. I believe it says sweet, yes. And then on the bottom it says absolutely adorable. And then I just stamped it over and over again, and I'm using the Memento ink, and I'm using the Memento ink in London Fog. And this will get covered up, most of it. I just wanted something to kind of be the base of where I start, so it will get covered up. So I'm taking some cheesecloth now, and this is just going to be to add some texture to the background. So it's just a regular cheesecloth. I purchased a pack of cheesecloth at Publix, so it's very easy to find anywhere. And I'm using Mod Podge to get that down, and I'm just putting a bit of Mod Podge on it, and that's the best way to get this down with Mod Podge, I think. And I just felt like I needed to stamp, and then I will stamp later on one more at the top and the bottom, because I realized that it's all kind of getting lost, and I still did want that sentiment to show, so you're gonna see it's gonna get covered up. But again, this is just kind of in mixed media, you kind of start with layers and start creating layers and texture. So I'm using some spray mist now. First one that I use is the Lindy Stamp Gang, and that's the first one I used was the Fuzzy Navel Peach from Lindy Stamp Gang. The second one I used, which is that darker one, was the Lindy Stamp Gang Red Hot Poker Orange. And then I use the Dilutions Cherry Pie. So those are the three colors I have right now. Sorry if my voice is a little weird. I'm sick. So, yeah. I might sound a little bit funny, but that's why. I'm just sick. So then I took one of the Lindy Stamp Gang in Merci Beaucoup Mint, which is a really light green. And then I took the Lindy Stamp Gang in Tibetan Poppy Teal. And I used that as well. So just creating some layers and texture and color. So, and I'm taking some of the string. This is just like kitchen string. I literally got this from my mom's kitchen. She had the roll, and I took it from her and never gave it back. So and I'll add some more string to that. I think that's a great way to add texture. And then I'm doing some black splatters. And then on the top left and bottom right, I kind of let the splatters be a little bit thicker, and then the ones on the other two edges are just a little bit thinner and small. So just because I want the two, the bigger drops or splatters to focus on those two edges on the top left and bottom right. And then I'm just going through some sequins now. I'm just kind of waiting for the paint to sort of dry and everything to kind of dry a little bit. And I was going through my sequins. And then I realized that I needed to stamp again. So that sentiment actually shows. Because it wasn't going to show through at all. Because it was getting, kind of lost behind all the paint. Which is fine. It's just like I said, another piece for layering. And then I actually let some darker splatters on the other edges, but for the most part I keep them on the top and bottom right. And then the bottom right, they kind of got mixed with my paint and they weren't very pretty, so I just took a paper towel and just kind of lifted that ink. So now I'm taking this is a Prima little stamp, and it's called Bubbles, and I'm just stamping it in black with some black color box ink, and I'm just stamping it in random areas, just kind of going in a it's sort of like what I'm keeping here is sort of like a cross or plus sign if you want, just kind of that sort of shape. And then I'm taking this gold ink, which is Encore ink, and I'm using that little piece right there, which is not a stamp. That little piece is actually the inside part of the ATG tape. You know, when your ATG gun is done, that's what you're left with. And I kept it because I thought it was cool, so I used that. And just add a little bit of gold, little hints of gold, because it's not a stamp, so you really can't see it all that great, but it just adds little hints of gold here and there. And then here's where I take some more of that string, that kitchen string. And you can use any type of string, you know, I mean, any type of thin fiber would work. So then I'm taking some tulle. These are tulle circles that I purchased at Walmart, and they were like in the wedding section, like where you have the wedding stuff. And I'm just kind of bunching them up together, and I'm gonna staple them with my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. And then I am going to decide to ink the edges, so that's what I'm doing right now. And even though right now they look really bright, the edges, because I just dipped it in the ink, they will dry lighter, because obviously the ink is going to it's going to dry and it's going to settle, and you know, the tulle is made of little holes, so it's not going to hold the ink like that, like you see there. It's gonna kind of seep in and you know, go through the little holes, so it'll be a lot lighter once it's dry, and you'll see that. So I'm getting 2 of them, and I bunched up the 2 of them, and then I'm doing the same thing for both. And then you're gonna see me, I'm gonna put them on a paper towel, just cleaning up my ink. And I love this Heidi Swapp mat, because you can just do anything on it and wipe it up, and it's like nothing ever happened, so it's really great. So I'm gonna let that dry and come back. There you go, I came back to it the next day, and as you can see, the color is not as bright as it was, and you know, you didn't get like that much color because it did seep into the fabric. So now I'm just taking some gesso, and there's just some areas that are a little bit too dark, like the paint kind of mixed in together and it became dark, and I really didn't like it. So I'm just kind of covering up with some gesso, and I'm gonna put some ink over that. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna do some ink on it, and I'm just kind of trying to dry it quickly. And then I'm gonna spray it with that. And that one is the Dilutions in Polished Jade is the color that I'm using there. And I kind of wanted to keep this sort of in the greens and reds, because if you notice her picture, she's wearing a little white and red dress, and then the background is kind of green and red. So this is a stencil. This is it's a Crafter's Workshop stencil, and it's just like little flowers. So I'm just kind of, I put those in 3 spots, just kind of to add some more texture, and mainly to cover up that gesso that I put where I just sprayed the polished shade, just kind of to cover that up a bit is what I did. And then I was going to use the top part of this packaging. See, I cut it off, it's kind of like the top of a bird cage, but I don't end up using that in the end. So but I cut it out because I thought I was going to use it. And that just was like the top of a trim package that I got at Michael's, so I was going to use it, but I don't end up using that. And then, oh, and the color that I used to use on that stencil is a modeling paste that is already colored, which is by Artsy. And it's Art, like just Art, A-R-T, and then C, the letter C. So that's what I did. And then I'm taking some Heidi Swapp Color Shine in gold, and I'm taking some Dilutions in white linen, and I'm just splattering that all over the place. And my background is white. It's just white. It's American Crafts cardstock, just plain white is the background that I started off with. And then I decided that this is a perfect time to use that Beautiful, which is in my kit. I originally was not going to make this layout a part of my Work It Wednesday kit, for, you know, my challenge where I'm gonna make 15 layouts with the kit. But I thought that beautiful is gonna go perfectly with this layout, and I might as well just grab a few of the papers and a few of the embellishments and you know, make it work. So that's what I'm doing. So I matted on some black cardstock, and then I take some pink, really thin, small pink polka dots, and I matted with that, and then I distressed it with my Tim Holtz distress tool. And then I take this black polka dot, which I think it frames the photo very nicely, so I was happy with that. And then I took my Tim Holtz distress tool, and I'm kind of off camera here, but I'm just distressing it, the edges, with my Tim Holtz distress tool. And I'm happy with that. I didn't want to do any other layering. I thought that was just enough, so that was good for me. And then I'm just dabbing some of the ink splatters because they're still wet, and just want to keep going, and I didn't have the patience to wait. So I wanted to use that film strip just because it was a photo session and I thought it was appropriate, and I really like the film strip, so I wanted to use it, and I'm going to use it like that underneath the photo. Once I put everything down, I decided to grab my heat tool because it's not going to dry magically. So I got my heat tool to kind of help it dry a bit, or help that paint dry a bit. So that film strip is from that basic gray acetate pack, which I have to my left. And then that beautiful is what I'm going to use, which is going to be my title. And she is very beautiful, so it was perfect. And then my two little tool pieces, which I will place, I will move them. I will put the top one towards the kind of the top right corner, and then the bottom one on the bottom corner. So I do that, and I leave them like that. And I really like how that looks. And then my film strip is going to go down there. So I don't really do a ton of embellishing here. I picked out a bunch of things that I thought I might use. I really wanted to use that ticket with the 1 because she turned 1, but I couldn't make it work. The color wasn't working, so. And then I didn't really feel like I needed to embellish this too much. So it's going to be simple embellishing. I mean, I left that little craft tag to the right of the picture, and then I do leave that little small tab on the bottom where I write, I just write 2015, and then I think I write first birthday pictures or something, just really simple journaling, I guess you could say, on that little tab. That little tab has gold glitter around it, and then that little craft tag as well. So I'm taking some pop dots to pop the picture up, to make it pop up a bit, because the tool is textured, so it's gonna pop up anyway. So I thought, let me just put some pop dots on it to make it, you know, pop and kind of look a little bit better. And so that's what I did. And then the beautiful. And then once I place the beautiful, I decide to move it down just a little bit. So you're gonna see me place it, and I'm not sure if I do it on camera or not, but I just move it down a little bit. And then I'm taking some of those really small little pop dots to put on the beautiful in the areas where it needs it, because sometimes, you know, it kind of falls in places on the edges where it needs a little bit of lift. So it's beautiful, and I love that beautiful. That's a Heidi Swap chipboard piece, which I love. It's so pretty. And there I go with that 1 again. I'm really trying to make it work because I really wanted to make the 1 work, but I just couldn't make it work. Not this time. So now I'm just going to glue those sequins down, and I'm going to kind of place them around the page to see where I like them, and that's just to add some more glitter and shine to my page. So they're going to pretty much stay where they are right now. Okay, that's when I decided to move that down a little bit. And then here I go, just gluing down my sequins. And like I said, they're all going to stay pretty much where I glue them. I think there's going to be one that I move later, which I didn't really like where it was. And I think it's that one right there that I put up there. I moved that one to the bottom. That red one on the top, on the left. So I do move that, and just kind of roughing up the edges on that black. And I really like how that black polka dot frames the photo. I think it looks really cute. And I'm just looking at it to see if there's anything else I want to do. And I take some of these little sequin gold and black stars, and I'm going to add a few of those just on the top left and bottom right. So just going to do that. Just take a few little gold and black sequins. And they're really tiny, tiny little stars. So I thought those were cute. Just for a more of a little bit of a whimsical look. So that's what that is. So yeah, so after that, I think I'm going to add some more white splatters. I think that's the only thing else that I do. And I am using my fine line bottle to glue down all those sequins, which has Scotch quick dry adhesive. So there's that. It's basically done. I'm adding some more white splatters to kind of just where the color is on the page, because obviously the background is white. But other than that, that is it. Here are the close-ups. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my video. Love to hear from you guys, so if you have any comments, please leave them below, or questions. Thank you guys for watching again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.